Start. Welcome back guys. Now in this video, let's continue with the calcium homeostasis. See, in this video, we'll be mainly discussing about how the hormones are going to influence the bone formation and bone resorption. Let's begin with the basics. So, we all know in a bone, let's say here I am showing you the bone. Okay, so this is a simple representation of a bone here. Now, in bone, we know there are two types of cells present. Okay, in a bone, there are two types of cells present. Here, the cell that I am showing, see, this is a good cell. Why? Because this is the one which forms the bone. So, what is the name of this cell? The name of this cell is called as osteoblast. Okay, osteoblast. Now, what this osteoblast is going to do, the function of the osteoblast is bone formation. Okay, it helps in the bone formation. Now, there is one more cell which I am showing in a different color, in the red color. So, this cell. Okay, so this cell is your osteoclast. See, it's more aggressive. Okay, it's osteoclast. What is it doing? It is causing bone resorption. Resorption means like breakdown. Okay. See, both the activities should be happening in a bone simultaneously. Okay. We need bone formation and we need the bone resorption also at the same time. Okay. Both should be happening at the same time. Okay. Old bone, whatever is there, that should be resorbed and the new bone formation should be happening. Okay. Now, my question is, what is the hormone that is influencing, okay, this bone formation and bone resorption? It is parathyroid hormone. Okay, parathyroid hormone. So, the parathyroid hormone is going to come, it is going to activate the osteoblasts. Okay. Now, whenever the osteoblasts are activated, they will help in the bone formation, that is okay. But the osteoblasts are going to secrete certain substances. Okay, now it is secreting a substance, a chemical. What is the name of this substance? Called as rank. Okay, rank. See, this is also called, this chemical is also called as a rank ligand. Okay. Now, what this rank ligand is going to do? Okay, no need to remember the full form of rank. It's a receptor activator of a nuclear factor kappa. Okay. So, no need to remember the full form, just remember rank. It's a chemical. Now, where this rank is going to act? The rank is going to come and act on the osteoclasts. Okay. So, what is this? This is a rank receptor. Here, what I am showing you, this is a rank receptor. So, rank receptors are present where? The rank receptors are present on the osteoclast. Parathyroid hormone receptors are present on the osteoblast. Okay. It's the osteoblast which is going to secrete the rank ligand and the rank ligand is going to come and activate the osteoclast. Now, this activated osteoclast is going to cause the bone resorption. So, the activity of the osteoclast is regulated by the osteoblast. Okay. So, this is the most important point which I want you to know. The osteoclastic activity is regulated by whom? It's the osteoblast. Okay. Osteoblast will tell the osteoclast when to do the bone resorption, how much to do the bone resorption. It is, the activity is regulated. Okay. Now, I want to add one more important hormone, okay, regulating the osteoclastic activity. See, in a reproductive age group female, okay, reproductive age group female. So, what happens in this reproductive age group female? We all know in a female who is in her reproductive age, see, she is having her ovaries and the ovaries are full of eggs. Okay, she is having lots and lots of ovarian follicles. Now, what these ovarian follicles are going to do? The granulosa cells of these ovarian follicles are going to make the estrogens. Okay. So, in a female in her reproductive age, she is having a lot of estrogen in her body. Now, what this estrogen is doing? See, estrogens are going to act on the bone marrow stromal cells. Okay, estrogens will stimulate, they will go and act on the bone marrow stromal cells. Okay, they are stimulating the bone marrow stromal cells. Now, these bone marrow stromal cells are going to secrete something called as osteoprotegrin. Okay, osteoprotegrin. In the name itself, it's there. See, osteo means bone, protection, protegrin means protection. So, what this osteoprotegrin is going to do? See, this osteoprotegrin, it is going to inhibit. Okay, this osteoprotegrin, it is a decoy receptor. Okay, in the presence of osteoprotegrin, This rank ligand, the rank ligand instead of going and binding with the osteoclast, it will come and bind with the osteoprotegrin. Okay. So now osteoprotegrin, what is it doing? It is inhibiting the rank ligand. So now there is no more rank ligand. Okay. Now whenever the rank ligand is not there, what will happen to the osteoclastic activity? The osteoclastic activity is going to be less. The osteoclastic activity is going to be less. So bone resorption is going to be less. Whenever the bone resorption is going to be less, the bones are going to be stronger. Okay. There are stronger bones, you can say. Okay. So that is the reason why, okay, a reproductive age group female, she is never going to complain. She is never going to complain about joint pains or like, fractures or something like that. But when a female reaches her menopause, problems will start to happen. Okay, she is going to suffer with like, fractures, wrist fracture, okay, pelvic fractures, she is going to have hip fractures, she is going to have like, weakness, okay, joint pains will be there. Why? We will discuss that. But tell me, estrogens are osteoprotective, estrogens are bone protective. They are going to decrease the activity of the osteoclast, they are going to decrease the bone resorption, so there is going to be stronger bones. Okay. Now, what happens, okay, in menopause? Let me tell you, that is during menopause. Now, tell me what is the meaning of the word menopause? Meno means menses, pause means stopped. Okay, no more menses. Okay, what is the reason? Because all the ovarian follicles are complete. See, now these are the ovaries. Inside the ovaries, there is no more follicles. All her eggs are completed. Okay, no more eggs. Now, do you think, is she going to produce the estrogens? Estrogens are not there. Okay, so there is no more estrogen. Now, whenever the estrogens are not there, tell me what will happen to the osteoprotegrin levels? Osteoprotegrin. Okay, osteoprotegrin levels are going to decrease. There is no more osteoprotegrin or no more bone protection. Whenever osteoprotegrin is not there, you tell me, look at this. So today what happened? Osteoprotegrin is not there. Now whenever the osteoprotegrin is not there, the rank ligand will directly go and activate the osteoclast. Well, this is what is going to happen. Now the rank ligand, it will go and it will activate the osteoclast more. Now there is going to be more osteoclastic activity, Previously there is a inhibition, previously there is a down regulation of the osteoclastic activity. Now there is going to be more osteoclastic activity during the menopause. Whenever there is more osteoclastic activity, what will happen to the bone resorption? So during menopause, the bone resorption is going to increase. Okay, there is going to be more bone resorption. Now you tell me, whenever there is more bone resorption, what will happen to the bones? There is going to be brittle bones. Okay, the bone mineral density. Okay, the bone mineral density is going to decrease. Okay, bone mineral density is going to decrease. So the patient is going to have the brittle bones, weak bones. So that condition is called as osteoporosis. Okay, so that is the reason for the osteoporosis in the menopause. We call it as a postmenopausal osteoporosis. Now why the postmenopausal osteoporosis? The main reason is no estrogens. Estrogens are not there. No osteoprotegrin, more osteoclastic activity, more bone resorption. So more bone resorption means the bone is getting broken down. So the bone mineral density, okay, is going to decrease. That is going to cause the osteoporosis in the postmenopausal female. Okay. Now whatever we have discussed, it's already there in your book. Just highlight it. Okay. So look at here, my dear students. See, I have told you it's the osteoblasts which are going to produce the rank ligand. Rank ligand is going to activate the osteoclast, and osteoclasts are going to control the bone resorption. But what is the counter regulation? See, in a reproductive age group female, estrogens are there. Estrogens are going to act on the bone marrow stromal cells. The bone marrow stromal cells are going to produce osteoprotegrin. Osteoprotegrin, what it will do? It will inhibit the rank ligand. Okay, already I have explained this. See, now what happens after menopause? The osteoprotective effect of the estrogens is lost. No more estrogens, no more osteoprotection. So she is going to have the fractures. Okay, brittle bones, osteoporosis. So what is the most common fracture? The most common fracture is not the hip fracture. It's not the wrist fracture. It is a vertebral compression fracture. It is a lumbar vertebral compression fracture. Okay, so that's a very, very important point. Vertebral compression fractures are the most common fractures during the menopause, followed by wrist fractures or the femur fractures. Now, if they ask you what is the test that you have to do to assess the bone mineral density, okay, BMD, bone mineral density. In order to estimate this bone mineral density, okay, what is the test that you have to do? The test, very, very important MCQ, that is DEXA scan. Okay, DEXA scan. DEXA stands for dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan. DEXA scan is used to assess the bone mineral density, okay, in a patient with osteoporosis. Now, how you are going to treat this condition. Okay, very important. Treatment also very important. The drugs which are used in the treatment of osteoporosis. So you can use many drugs, like generally we will give the calcium tablets, we will give the vitamin D tablets. But for your exams, what are most important? See, the first group of drugs, okay, the first line of drugs I should say, which we will use are bisphosphonates. These are the first line of drugs. Okay, first line drugs for the for the treatment of the osteoporosis. Now, what exactly are these bisphosphonates doing? Okay, what they will do, sir? What is the mechanism of action? Let me tell you, the mechanism of action is these bisphosphonates are going to cause the apoptosis of osteoclast. They are going to cause the apoptosis of osteoclast. If you take the bisphosphonate group of drugs, the osteoclast will be killed. So that's very good. So who is the culprit cell? The culprit cell is the osteoclast, which is causing the bone resorption. So let's kill the osteoclast. Okay, I'm not saying to kill the entire osteoclast in the bone. Okay, to kill some of the osteoclast so that the bone resorption will be controlled. So the mechanism of action is to cause the apoptosis of the osteoclasts. Now we'll be having a drug. Sir, can you give me any examples of bisphosphonates? Alendronate, ibandronate, zolendronate. So any drug which ends with the name dronate, okay, alendronate, ibandronate, pamidronate, zolendronate, okay, all these drugs. The mechanism of action is apoptosis of osteoclast. They are the first line drugs, or you can say they are the drug of choice for the treatment of osteoporosis. Okay, drug of choice for the treatment of the postmenopausal osteoporosis. Drug of choice. See, especially the drug of choice for postmenopausal osteoporosis after the age of 60 years. Okay, after the age of 60 years, if a female is suffering with the osteoporosis, then the drug of choice is bisphosphonate group of drugs. But if they say, what is the drug of choice if she is less than 60 years? Let's say if from 51 to 60 years, in this age. After 60 years, you can go with the bisphosphonates. What is the drug of choice for osteoporosis in a female who is in the age of 51 to 60 years, let's say? Then the answer will be hormone replacement therapy. Your answer should be hormone replacement therapy. Okay. Now, what is the side effect of this bisphosphonates? The side effect of these drugs, the very rare side effect is osteonecrosis of jaw. They will cause esophagitis, like gastric issues also. But the rare side effect which I want you to know for your exam is bisphosphonates are going to cause the osteonecrosis of the jaw. Okay. Next, what about this raloxifene? See, this raloxifene is nothing but the hormone replacement therapy. Okay, HRT means nothing but the giving the hormones back. See, the entire problem, you think the entire problem of osteoporosis is because of the absence of estrogen. So estrogen is not there. That's what is going to cause the problem. So let's give the estrogen back to her. Okay, let's give the estrogen back to her in the menopause, so that her bone problem will be treated. But there is an issue here. What is the issue is, see, if you give the estrogens back to her, that's going to cause the breast cancer. These estrogens may stimulate the breast tissue unnecessarily, that can lead to the breast cancer. The estrogens can go and stimulate the uterus, it can lead to the endometrial cancer. So you have to use the estrogen which specifically acts on the bone, which should only target on the bone. So that's why we are going to use drugs called as a selective estrogen receptor modulator. Means they are going to act selectively, specifically on the bone tissue, but not on the breast tissue or uterus. So we are going to use a drug called as raloxifene. Now, what is the example of what is the mechanism of action, guys? Raloxifene is a selective estrogen receptor modulator. Okay, selective estrogen receptor modulator acts only on bones. Okay, it's going to act as an agonist. It's acting as an agonist, means stimulatory. Agonist on the bones. Okay, acts as antagonist on breast and uterus. Will there be any risk of breast cancer or uterine cancer? No, there is no risk of, okay, let me write it here itself. No risk of breast cancer or uterine cancer or endometrial cancer. Okay. Now let's discuss about a drug called as a teriparatide. Okay. Now what exactly is this teriparatide? In the name itself is there, see para. Para means what? Parathyroid hormone. See, it's an analog of, okay, it's a, you can say it's a recombinant parathyroid hormone. Recombinant parathyroid hormone. How you have to use this? You should be very careful while using this teriparatide. Why? Because in low doses, this teriparatide is going to stimulate the osteoblasts only. It's going to stimulate the osteoblast only. Okay, no osteoclastic activation, no rank ligand protection. So teriparatide in low doses only, you have to use it in low doses because it's going to stimulate the osteoblast. So whenever the osteoblasts are stimulated, you know there's going to be increased bone formation. That's actually good. Okay. Say for the treatment of osteoporosis, either you have to increase the bone formation or you have to decrease the bone resorption. So teriparatide is that kind of drug which increases the bone formation. Next, denosumab. What is this MAB stands for? MAB. MAB stands for what? Monoclonal antibody. Anything which ends with the name MAB, MAB means monoclonal antibody. So how this denosumab is going to work? Denosumab, okay, inhibits rank ligand. Okay, so it's going to inhibit the rank ligand in our body. I have told you who is actually inhibiting the rank ligand in a reproductive age group female. The rank ligand is inhibited by the osteoprotegrin. So in a postmenopausal female, osteoprotegrin is not there. So you are going to use a drug which mimics the osteoprotegrin, which acts like osteoprotegrin. That is a denosumab. Denosumab, it will go and inhibit the rank ligand. So today there is no more rank ligand in the body. Whenever rank ligand is not there, what it's going to do? It's going to decrease the bone resorption. Okay, it's going to decrease the bone resorption. Done. Next, this strontium renalate is a very important drug. Okay, why? Because it's having two functions. What are the two functions of the strontium renalate? Always remember, strontium renalate is a guy with the two hands. It's a drug with the two hands. With one hand, what it is doing, it's going to stimulate osteoblasts. It's going to stimulate the osteoblast. And with the other hand, the same drug is going to inhibit osteoclast. Okay, so two things are happening and both are good. This strontium renalate, it is stimulating the osteoblast. There is going to be increased bone formation, and it is inhibiting the osteoclast, so there is going to be decreased bone resorption. Both are good. Okay, so these are the different drugs. Okay, these are the different group of drugs which can be used in the treatment of osteoporosis. Okay, so with this, what we have completed. First, I have explained you the normal calcium homeostasis. What are the different hormones controlling the, okay, different hormones which are controlling the blood calcium levels. And in this part of the video, I have explained you how the hormones are going to act on the bone. Okay, the parathyroid hormone and the estrogen, how they are going to regulate the activity of the osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Okay, helping in bone formation, bone resorption, and what happens after the menopause, and the treatment of the osteoporosis also. Hope the video is helpful. In the next videos, I will be explaining you about the pathologies. Like what is osteoporosis, what is osteopetrosis in detail, okay? What is a Paget's disease, okay? Osteogenesis imperfecta, the diseases I will try to cover in the next video. Hope the video is helpful. Thank you.